Oh yeah. So, wow, where to start? Just big thanks to everybody, the personnel staff, the cafeteria staff, all the coaches, support from Jody and Bert and Chuck, and just the whole weekend. Honestly, just taking it in, like right now. Ended. We're the free agency stuff's still going on right now, but the guys are in there just kicking butt, and yeah, just very, very grateful. Very just I don't know, probably it's very proud of everybody and how everybody worked together, and completing our 16th draft. It's a really cool. It's a blessing, and we're very excited about what we've added to this team, and the depth and the toughness and the competitors and the reliability, and just excited for this growth-minded staff to get their hands on these guys and get ripping.
Man, I didn't tell John I was going to do this, but I think it's appropriate from my perspective to, as coaches and what we're coming into, to share our appreciation for John and our team on the personnel side of the ball. I'll tell you what, I wish you guys could be in that room, and how we operate it is it's different. It's unique to the rest of the league, in my opinion. I think we do it better than anybody else, and it's our style. It's how we want to operate. Everybody's included. It's just a special operation, man, and it's just really cool to work alongside John and see him do his thing with the rest of the crew.
Thanks, man.
It's just it was
Thanks,
awesome.
buddy.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So,
That's
appreciate
very
it.
nice of
But
you.
these guys, they're really good at what they do, and it was a lot of fun this weekend. So, just can't wait to practice next week, rookie camp. See these guys in here and get to work.
Speaking of inclusion, can you talk about the call from Bray to Mason and how that went down, and who decided that was going to happen?
Yeah, Mike found out that you usually don't fly first-round draft picks in, I guess, and so that was Saturday. No, today's Saturday. Sorry, Friday morning.
Yeah.
And it's so we flew him in, and he came with his folks, and so Mike brought him in and introduced him to everybody, and I met him. I was we were talking, and said hi to him, we're dapped it up or whatever, and I was we're picking in 2 minutes. Okay, so I'm exaggerating. It was 10, 15 minutes, but he basically was there, and I was well, that'd be kind of cool if he just. The Rams did it last year with Jared Verse, and I was oh yeah. Somebody was hey, he should announce it. Trent was he should announce it. So yeah.
Richman said he thought it was a prank call. You have to grab the phone.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
That's funny. That's pretty funny.
Guy with the big voice.
Yeah.
Kid calling.
Yeah.
You hadn't done that before.
No, and he showed his if he's ever playing center, he can do it. He did a nice job.
Those of us who've been around here a day or two notice you're pretty enthusiastic about this whole haul over the 3 days. Is that actually?
Yeah, Historic was a little aggressive last night. Yeah, I was slow down, Sheriff. But no, I don't know. It's just this really cool, these guys and the back, the work that everybody did, and sorry, Dave. Just I don't know, it's just it was a cohesive process. We just we worked our tails off, and it may have a little bit to do with second year with with a new with our the defensive staff, Mike, his group, and then an offensive staff that has been through different draft processes, whether it be Denver, Minnesota, or New Orleans.
Mike, as a defensive guy, did you feel left out with only 2 guys on your side of the ball? Or out of this class?
I think honestly, I realized that at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were going through the free agency process, and gave the defensive guys some grief, but no, they're really excited. Excited about our UDFA class as well. I know the offensive guys were rocking and rolling today, and as they should be. We got some really good players to join the team. So all positive, man. It was great.
Was that an emphasis, John, or just kind of the way it happened? End up taking 9 offensive guys?
No, it was just the way it happened. We had some defensive guys that, we talk about like the upsets, and things started happening. So it was like, okay, we're going here, we're going here, we're going here, and it just the offensive guys ended up standing out on our board.
Cabeldue and Richman both played tackle primarily in college. What did you see from them on film and in the pre-draft process to draft them as guys that you can slide inside? Where do they fit in the competition?
Yeah, Bryce is, he's like 30 guy, really athletic, chip on his shoulder, very smart, projected to play inside. And then Richmond is, we'll start him at tackle. The coaches, the buy-in there was awesome. Like, they were so excited when, and believe it or not, in the 7th round, it does get hairy like that, So they were so stoked to be able to get him, and so JB was pretty fired up.
John, you had a class that seemed so excited, yet they were humble and ready to go. And I would also use the word vibe, because it seems like every one of them kind of had this vibe about humility and also playing for the Seahawks.
I think it's it's a credit to the players and the competitors, and then a credit to the scouts and the coaches working together to figure out what our guys are, and what does a Seahawk look like as we move forward here. And I think it's going to be I can see this group. If you look at the group, you could see them interacting, hanging out. So
John, the scouting community is pretty tight knit across the league.
Yeah.
The way teams all honor Coral today.
Yeah.
With the shirts. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, just Matt's a really awesome guy, and I feel awful for him, and I couldn't imagine what he's going through. And when you spend that much time away from your family, you end up having dinners and coffees and beers and all that with a lot of guys on different teams, and you become very close. And we love Matt, and I thought it was pretty cool we did that. I think it was Ed's idea, Ed Dodds, which Ed's kind of a hard ass, so it kind of surprised me. But
John,
no.
this is your tied for your largest draft class, 11 players, and then you also drafted 6 offensive linemen the last 2 years, which is the most in the NFL. Talk about the investment you guys are making in that specific position group.
Gray was standalone. Bryce was this guy that Trent and Kirk loved, had a lot of very much under the radar kind of dude, and then we had buy-in with Mason, with the coaches and the guys that went to the school on the intelligence and the competitor. I mean the toughness too. That he started or he played last 2023. He played I think it was almost the whole season on he had a hairline fracture in his leg, and he probably he wanted to help them, and he played through it, which is pretty rare these days. Used to happen all the time, but he played through it. So it's an area of need, but it always is. I can't emphasize that enough. I mean, every team in the National Football League is looking to help their offensive line, and it's just an ongoing issue, and we'll have these guys in competing, and we'll see where it goes with this new group, with these 3 guys coming in, and the free agents that we signed, and so we'll see what it looks like.
Being able to Sam Howell, kind of that trade, being able to pull that off, and being able to add some picks, just kind of how did that develop?
Started at the owners meeting with talking with Kevin and Rob and Rob Brzezinski and Quessy, just about the situation and what it looked like, and we had met with Drew down there, and there's a possibility to sign Drew back, and then we liked the quarterbacks in the draft, and we thought there was an opportunity, we thought there was a chance that might happen, so there were several teams that were interested, and Minnesota was the team that ended up pulling the trigger.
John, you mentioned what a Seahawk looks like, and I was wondering, when you look at this class as a whole, is there kind of a shared identity, or what are the common components that you see across a bunch of these guys?
Smart, tough, reliable, swaggy, athletic, speed. I mean, the GPS, we added a 275-pound fullback that runs 19 miles an hour. That's pretty cool, It's a lot of, what does Pat say? A lot of momentum heading downhill. Or
It's got some.
Pat Ward, shout out, Pat.
Like, talk a lot about the style of football you want to play to add a big fullback and then a really physical running back as well. Just looking at for you.
I'm really excited to see them out there do their thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see our run game come to life. These guys fit what we're trying to do, how we want to do it. You got to move people, man, and you got to get downhill and play north and south, and that's what they're going to help us do. And so, I don't know. I can't wait for them to get here and just teach them all the stuff, and let's get rocking and rolling. But yeah, they're going to be a big part of what we're doing and competing with the rest of the guys we've got on our roster right now that we're really excited about, and it's going to be an awesome competition.
Mike, you talked about wanting to find an A-gap player, primary A-gap player, and this, by some estimates, this is a good draft to find a nose tackle. Is that right guy just not followed you guys, or do you have other plans there?
Yeah, I think kind of both are fair. If there was an opportunity for us, I think we probably would have gone for it. Not to speak for John, but yeah, like, we still got a long time before we play, so there's going to be hopefully some more opportunities as we unfold here.
John, how do you see Riley into that mix on the D-line, and where do you see his best fit, and how's he coming back from the injury?
Excited, he's doing great. We flew him in. He was able to spend time with Dr. Ed, and he was pleased with where he's going with his post-combine. I think we were his only 30, is it right?
I think so.
Yeah. And, Ed was able to, have another exam, felt good about it, and he's doing great with his rehab, we're hopeful that, like mid to later season, he's going to be a viable candidate to add to our group. And he's a really good player, and if we wouldn't have drafted him, I'm not sure if AD would have showed up for work on Monday.
And then his fit along the line for you guys, how do you see that working out?
Yeah, he's got position flexibility for us in base. He can play at least two spots. And then, when we're in 4 down or our sub stuff, playing inside, we also have we'll see how he plays like the big end, sometimes like a 6 technique. So like the multiple gaps thing on early downs, and then, going through and meet him and talking football with him and seeing how he approaches the game with his approach with the rush and how they orchestrate their pass rush games. He's it's really impressive. Sounds like a 5-6 year vet of how it's designed and the intent of the movements and all that type of stuff. So he'll compete for pass rush snaps too.
What did you guys think of the 2 receivers, Horton and Ricky White, that you added today?
Well, Robert Turbin texted me, so he was all fired up, covering those guys. He loves them both, so yeah, no, it's pretty cool though. He loves those guys, and it's just fun getting those from guys that you've drafted in the past, and he's a huge part of our family. But yeah, Tory's a underrated guy, and in our opinion, he can turn punts. He's the catch radius. He's this long, competitive, very fast receiver. Yeah, and then Ricky, the special teams part. Jay and Fitz were really excited about him, and the guys that Josh and all those guys. I mean, he's blocked 4 punts. I mean, he personally kind of reminded me of Donald Driver, who we drafted. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. I wasn't there. I came after that draft, but they had drafted him in the 6th round, and he was one of the better special teams players in the league before he just completely established himself as our number 1 receiver. So that's kind of who he reminded me of. Just this tough, like, and he's kind of got that gangly feel to him too. Both guys are kind of we call Horton T-Bone, I guess. So yeah, if you guys are interviewing him, but yeah, excited about both those guys and glad to add to the group.
Quarterback, was that another position where the board just didn't fall the right way for the quarterback?
Fair, yes. It didn't fall that way. Yeah.
What do you feel like you're standing there? Like, is there still work to be done at that spot?
Yes.
The that series of picks or the trades, where you're trading back, you're trading Sam, and you're trading away again and other pictures. What's that whole process like when you have so many things you're juggling at once?
I just think our guys did a great job. I think, with Nolan and Trent and Matt and Willie and Aaron, those guys are on the phone. I mean, they're communicating, not necessarily on the phone anymore. We always used to be on the phone. Now, like, it's way more quiet. Everybody's just like texting, and then we'll get on the phone at the very end if things get, turned up. But that did move pretty quick though, and Nolan had stuff going on with other teams too. So, and then Trent and so it got a little funky there for a minute, but it was great. It was very smooth and. Nobody panicked. Everybody kind of just, kept it all together, and we just moved through it.
John, how much did Tennessee jumping up in front of you trigger all that? Did you react?
No. No, we were planning on that before.
And
Yep.
Mike, for you who's newer to this, what's it like just to watch all them work in that situation where all those guys are making all that happen?
Yeah, it's impressive. I mean, like the alignment of what we're trying to achieve, and then just, to someone that doesn't really know what's going on, you could be confused for some organized chaos, but it's just succinct and bang, bang, boom, and we know what we were trying to get to, and so as the offers come in, like, we keep track of them, and felt like we ended up in, we definitely achieved, like, the spirit of what we were trying to get, it felt like, and that's what gets you excited.
John, I think you were joking.
It's way more. It's way less chaos than what we just went through with rookie free agency.
That's true.
You were joking about AD not showing up. You guys didn't get Riley. Why? What did AD love so much about Riley?
Just his instincts and his feel for the game.
Yeah, I mean, we met with him at the combine, and we had him here, and just again, when you talk football with this guy, and he kind of when two people that have a lot of passion about D-line play kind of get together, and you can see where it goes. Justin Hines, big part of that process too. And just like the spirit of how he approaches the game, and his energy, enthusiasm, toughness, competitiveness, but like. When you're able to, like, when you turn the tape on and then the guy just like lights up and he's got all the reasons, and this is what we're thinking, and this is what I was thinking here, and then you're kind of throwing ideas back and forth, like that's like that's the spirit of everything. That's how it's made right there. That's big time stuff, and those are the people we want in our building that love that type of thing. And when you sharpen each other like that, you get no choice but to get better, and so he's part of that.
Robbie, is the plan for him to be your primary fullback, or will that be a competition with Brady Russell?
You were asking about Riley, right? Okay.
Robbie.
Okay, you're asking about Robbie.
Yeah, Robbie.
Okay.
Is the plan,
I was like, I just totally didn't answer that right. I'm sorry.
It came kind of quick.
Yeah,
that was
okay.
Shot out of a
So
cannon.
we're talking Robbie.
We're all trying to get in before the other guy. Robbie, is the plan for him to be your primary fullback, or is that going to be a competition?
Yeah, he's going to compete with Brady, and like, you don't have to live in 21. You can be in 12. I mean, there's options to be in different personnel groups. So all those guys are kind of competing for those roles of how we want it to come to life. So we got a lot of great players that kind of fit that tight end fullback mold, and special teams is going to be a big part of it too. And I know this, like, to bet against Brady Russell would be a gigantic mistake. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
How much are we talking about use of fullback? Will the fullback also be an H-back type in this?
Yeah. I mean, you've seen how it's been deployed in the past. But yeah, you're going to see you're going to see two backs back there a good bit.
Mike, you're now 2 full drafts now as head coach here. Thinking big picture, how far do you think that you are now with this team in what you envision in terms of the vision that you have for this roster?
Yeah, I respect the question. This is not just me saying, like, this is us. getting together, carving this thing out, one move at a time, one decision at a time, one practice. It's just of how we want to become, and I feel like we're making. I mean, we're on our way. Like, we're growing. It's our job to expedite that process, so we're competing for championships this year. I mean, that's what we want to do, and I'm really confident that we're going to have that opportunity. You know, that's the expectation for us, and I can tell you, like, the last week of just the guys being in the building and the spirit and the conversations we're having with the guys, like, it's so much fun to come to work every day, man, and coach these guys. Like, I can't wait for Monday to come back and get to the second week of phase one. You know, like, that's the way it should be. That's the environment we're trying to create, that these guys are excited to come to work every day and, you know, keep connecting, keep getting tougher, keep kind of just ringing out every day, and then let the results kind of speak for themselves.
Speaking of that, how integrating Sam Darnold into all that, obviously, is kind of his first week. How is that kind of gone so far?
I mean, Sam's kicking butt. I mean, look, I'm hearing the offensive plays, and I'm trying to envision in my head, and it's a lot. And this guy, I mean, he's on it. Like, he's really sharp, and I think just like the respect that he has from his teammates, that he can command, like, by doing it his style, is really cool. And yeah, we want to empower him. You know, like something as simple as routes on air to, you know, running the offense and some sort of no huddle temp. I mean, all those things, we want to gas him up, and we want Sam to play the best football of his career.
I know this can get kind of tricky when you're trying to keep information like a secret and everything, but did you have to have a conversation with Sam about, hey, you know, this could be coming? Sam Darnold, like, hey, a quarterback pick could be coming.
Yeah. It became clear we're gonna pick Jalen. I gave him a call and just let him know what was going on, and he was great. He's awesome.
You did that last night?
Yeah.
How long was that great for?
I mean, you know me, I'm pretty a verbose guy, so I had a hard time getting to the point.
How long was it, Mike? Like 13 and a half seconds? A minute
Clint's
and
was shorter.
104?
Clint's conversation was shorter, probably.
That's an interesting conversation. Interesting question. How long was the conversation?
Check my phone.
How about we interview you? What movie's that? Step Brothers. Come on, man. We gotta get you
When in
hit,
doubt,
man.
it's Step Brothers with John.
This is a year-long process to get from 1,200 players down to 11 new picks. You guys have been off the room for 3 days. Do you all like go out and celebrate at the end of this, or you just all go home and not want to see each other for a couple days?
Oh, look, we're one of the few draft rooms that aren't locked, so let me be clear on that one.
Yeah.
Our door's open.
Mike, going back to Nick anymore.
Yes, we will.
Sorry.
Where would you like to see him play, Nick?
This is interesting because, like, I think you got to let it happen about what he's going to do well. I think a safe bet is going to be at the second level initially, like at nickel, some dime reps, you know. But he's going to train to be a safety too and give us the flexibility there. And I think it's kind of like offensive line, where you kind of start a guy with an idea and then see how those three guys gel and who does what well, and then the competition at linebacker too. What's funny is the competition isn't just. It's kind of like with like tight ends, fullbacks, receivers. Like, you're not just competing against your personnel, you know, your position group. You're competing against, you know, kind of your productivity and how well, you know, the unit operates when you're out there. So that's kind of where we're going to let it start, and then we'll see how it evolves as it goes. But he's going to train at safety, and then it's kind of the same. You start at safety, you kind of go down, and it's kind of all the same jobs.
John, at the combine, he said outside of quarterback, safety is probably one of the harder positions to evaluate these days because of the tackling and some of the stuff you mentioned. Why was Nick like not a difficult eval, I guess, in that one?
I think what I meant there was that when I started, when I started scouting, like that was the hardest position to evaluate in college, because everybody's just like, they're never around the ball, and they didn't have the cut-ups that we had, you know. It's just like the cut-ups we have now is like, you know, show me you can just go through stuff instead of just like literally like zipping through a game, like trying to figure out. They're just, yeah, it's much easier now. So that, what I meant by that was like when I started. So, but what it's like about him, I mean, besides all the testing, it was like he's really tough. He's a good tackler. Yeah.
Mike, curious what
Really
goals
good
you
coverage
have
skills too.
for your rookie minicamp, and how that's changed at all from your first one last year.
What's the plan for rookie
Yeah,
minicamp?
what are your goals? Like, what are you hoping to learn from about
Well, we have more guys kind of signed up at this point, so it's going to be really exciting. But we loved how last year went. I think kind of a byproduct of the whole thing is the guys understand like how we're going to practice here, how to do it safe, do it the right way, compete, take care of your teammates, but also get great work in at the same time. So I think that's really valuable. But just to see them out there moving around, and it's not like some comprehensive like IQ football test. Like we want them to go play ball and to get a good feel for them initially and understand how we're going to operate here. So when they come back a week from then, they're kind of off the ground, hit the ground running, so to speak.
John, can you the Charles Cross and whether you're going to do that by the end of the week? Is that a question you can answer?
I think we'll have to the 2nd, right?
Yeah.
Today's the 26th.
Yeah.
Yep. Be an exciting day.
When free agency went the way it was, what was your plan for the draft and interior offensive line, and did you meet those goals this week?
Yeah, I think we talked about it last night a little bit, or maybe the night before, but the group of offensive linemen, like once we got past the Super Bowl, through the Combine, speaking with everybody we needed to speak with at the Combine, there was a couple guys that we were very interested in, but, we knew that we could kind of lean back a little bit just based on, picking 18, where are these guys going to go, and then, so, yeah, I would say right in there, that was probably the going in the plan. You mean like that was? Yeah, I mean we knew we were gonna address this. Yeah.
With multiples, not just one. Is that the plan?
I would say one high. Yeah.
Is there a moment through this whole draft process, a moment from a scout, someone standing up, calling out for a player that stands out to you, about a player, about a specific scout, leading up to this draft?
I don't know. I would have to say probably Josh's call to Tory Horton. We had a hard time getting a hold of him, and and then once he got a hold of him, it sounded like he was like we were little kids, and you're going to your buddy's house or calling your buddy's house to see if like the mom and like, is Tory there? Can he come out and play? Can Tory sleep over tonight? It was kind of fun. That was the funniest one. We've been through all that stuff that you're talking about, though. Like, you mean like pounding the table sort of stuff? Yeah, we have a very, very clear view of like a understanding of who likes who, and then it's balancing all that, and like, but it's all about like where you acquire the player and making people feel like, hey, like we're all in this thing together, and we're like rolling. It's not like, here's this player, go coach him. You know what I mean? And so I think Mike does an awesome job with his staff, as does Clint and AD and Harbs. But like all of us working together, it's pretty cool. It's fun.
John, to touch back on the Howell trade, I think it's the first time you guys have dealt somebody or brought somebody in as a rostered player during the draft since maybe Leon and Lendale your first year here. How different is it working with a rostered player as part of a trade during draft weekend when it's going on? How different a process is that for you guys to kind of figure out what you want to do and to manage the circumstances?
It is different. That's a good question, because there's like a contingency. There has to be some sort of contingency a little bit there too. So if the player fails the physical, so I mean that was definitely part of the discussion. Good question. Yeah.
Mike, how does the way Damien runs the ball fit what you want to be?
Yeah, I think you know that by the question. Like, I think you respect that about him. About guys that are going to run the ball physically, downhill. I've had a lot of great guys come through this building that have ran it like that, so nod to those people. But just, again, we're really excited about the guys we have on our roster and come in and come kick butt with the rest of them. And it's going to be a great competition, but we're really excited about them.
Mike, just to clarify, you guys listed Richman as a guard, but you're saying you're going to give him a shot at tackle?
Yeah. Yep.
Which side?
Both. Yeah.
John, fans see pictures of Jody Allen in the draft room. What was her role this weekend? What did she have?
Yeah, she's awesome. She loves it.
What does she ask her? What is her role?
I mean, I'm not gonna get into specifics, but I mean, she's very interested. She's got a great sense of humor. She's asks great questions. She's tough, you know. So, yeah.
Anything else?
I actually just want to ask that clarifying question. What does happen if the player fails the physical? Like in that case, what is the?
They revert actually. So, if that happens, that the player reverts back to the previous team,
And then when the draft picks.
and then you have to decide whether you're gonna, you know, the draft picks. Yeah, there's something like you have to figure out. Like, okay, is there a player? Like, what's gonna happen? That's part of the negotiation. It's not. I'd love to be able to share it with you. I can't.
No, it's a, no.
Yeah, but what happens is the player goes back, and then, but if that were to happen, which it won't, Sam's very healthy young man. But you have to figure out like what's the compensation look like if he, you know, for the next year, if the player were to fail.
All right, thank you.
Okay, have a
Thanks.
have a great night, you guys.